Once, a student seeking wisdom approached a great Zen master. He was very impatient and wanted to learn everything quickly. He said to the master, "Show me the path to patience and peace quickly. I want to attain wisdom as soon as possible." The master smiled gently and replied, "Patience is the first step toward true wisdom." The student ignored this and insisted on learning fast. The master took the student to a garden and said, "Tend to this garden every day. Every plant here grows slowly, but with time, it will become beautiful." The student asked, "How can I make it grow faster?" The master replied, "The laws of nature cannot be changed. Only patience brings the right results." The student nodded reluctantly, but he was still restless inside. Every day, the student worked hard in the garden, but he always felt that the plants were growing too slowly. His frustration grew with each passing day. One day, he told the master, "This is too slow. I feel like I am not worthy of this work." The master looked at him and said, "Your impatience is your greatest obstacle." The master took the student to a riverbank and said, "Look at this river. It flows slowly along its path, but with time, it can pass over the largest stones. Be like the river, moving slowly toward your goal." The student watched the river closely, but still, the desire for quick success lingered in his mind. The student felt his lack of patience but continued following the master's instructions. He worked in the garden, watering the plants daily. Though he focused on the slow progress, he didn't give up. The master watched silently, knowing that the student was beginning to understand the value of patience. Months passed, and the garden began to flourish. The plants started blooming. Seeing this gave the student some satisfaction, but he still hadn't fully grasped the depth of patience. The master advised, "You still have much to learn. Patience is not just about reaching the result but embracing the journey." One day, the master said to the student, "Let us meditate today." He seated the student in a peaceful spot and said, "As long as there is restlessness in your mind, true wisdom cannot come. Calm your impatience and live in the present moment." The student tried but kept wondering when the meditation would end. Each day, the student sat in meditation, trying to calm his mind. Slowly, he began to realize that time cannot be controlled. He understood that impatience was merely an illusion of his mind. The master watched him and smiled, seeing that the student had started his journey toward true patience. Time passed, and the student's capacity for patience grew. He no longer cared about the garden's slow progress. He watered the plants daily, knowing that the results would come in time. His spirit grew calmer, and he began to appreciate every small change. The master saw that the student had learned the first true lesson of patience. One day, the student said to the master, "Now I understand what true patience means. It is not just about waiting, but about enjoying the journey and having faith in it." The master nodded and said, "You have learned true patience. Now, you are ready for further wisdom." The master said, "Now that you have understood the lesson of patience, remember that everything in life takes time. Wisdom, love, and inner peace, all come only with patience. Just as a tree takes time to grow, the most important aspects of life also develop slowly." The student now began to embrace his journey with slow and steady steps. Each day he worked in the garden, meditated, and reflected on the master's teachings. He realized that patience was not just a part of success but the foundation of life. The master's presence had now become his guiding light. The student's journey was no longer about gaining external knowledge. He realized that with patience, he was being guided toward self-realization. He began to live in each moment without worrying about the future. The master felt content seeing his student walk the path of patience. The master finally said to the student, "Patience is a virtue that will help you overcome every challenge in life. It is not just about waiting but adapting to time and keeping your spirit steady." The student had now fully absorbed this and embraced patience in his life. Over time, the student became a great teacher, sharing the importance of patience with others. He taught what he had learned from the master, that patience is the key to peace, contentment, and true wisdom. Eventually, he realized that patience is the foundation of every great journey.